All right, guys, welcome to Real Talk.
Hey,
We're
guys.
here today with my brother from another mother, Mr. Rudy Raya.
Hey, how you
my
doing?
other brother from another mother, Mr.
guys.
Moya. Oh, man. So, Moya, you had a big event take place here pretty recently. Can you tell us a little bit about this life-changing event?
Yeah, actually, I just had my first baby. Little girl, Aspen. It was kind of a crazy one getting her into the world. She didn't want to come out, so
Nice.
brought a lot of challenges forth. I mean, Lauren could tell you guys about that one day. But
Yeah.
yeah, from my experience, just I give props to anyone giving birth. That's
That's
not an easy
actually,
feat.
I had that same thing when I saw my wife give birth for the first time, and it's just like, wow, like the respect that you get, you know,
Yeah.
for this little thing that can endure so much
life,
pain,
man, a
just to
whole
bring life
life.
into the world. It's just like,
Yeah.
you give them more respect for the ability and what they have to endure just to bring life.
Yeah.
You know, it's just,
No, it is.
it's an amazing thing.
It's a big deal, and it's funny because, you know, if men had to bear that, we'd have no population.
No, we
Right?
we-
Let's be
we-
honest,
we
man.
did, yeah.
Because those women are tough. What we had to see them, what you've seen your wife go through, what you've seen your wife go through, what I see my wife go through,
Mhm.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, more
Nope,
power to
no
them.
way.
And yes, the respect level went through the roof. Man.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, us we're over there crying after a hard leg day.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't walk
Yeah,
for
I
2
can't
days.
walk.
We can't
Yeah,
walk.
yeah, they like give us no excuses, man. It's funny. So you have one baby, which is amazing. I remember when I had my first. You know, I have 4, which is kind of funny because the order of ours, my oldest was not our first, as you guys know. We had Joey, then Joseph, then Valine, and then Hunter. But having one at a time is hard enough in itself, right? You just mentioned when you came out, how'd you sleep last night? What'd you tell me?
Yeah, just already a rough night. But
You were up at what time?
I didn't go to actually fall asleep until like 4:30.
4:35 in the morning. And you're here today doing your thing
Yeah.
because you're a daddy, and that's what we do, right? We take care of our babies and then we move forward.
Yeah.
So that's with one. My man here had twins
Yeah.
at the same time. Now I remember when we had our first, and we were at Kaiser, one of the parenting classes. We're there. We're like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of work. And I'll be brutally honest. It was a lot more work for my wifey at the time. You know, just with us building our business and where I was at, I was out working a lot more. She was taking care of baby Joe at the house a lot more. It was what it was. So I didn't help as much as I wish I could have at the time. You know, it was just where we were. But it was still a lot of work for her, for myself. We had mother-in-law come in and live with us so that she could help as well. Like it was a team effort, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
That was just one. I remember seeing twins come in to the class, and everybody's like, oh, right? Because we all knew what it was to have one.
Yeah.
2 at a time, bro. How was that?
So, well, first my twins came afterwards, but you know, I had my son first. We had our son first, and he was easy. He was
Yeah.
super easy. I was like, why do people complain about having kids? They're super easy.
Yeah.
So I think that was a setup. You know, life gives you.
Yeah.
And then when we were having twins, my whole mindset was like, they'll be fine. They'll be like Isaac. You know, he'll be fine. They'll be fine. First week, I was like, like wanting to pull my hair out because they do this whole I call it the good cop bad cop routine, where when one baby starts crying, you know, you take care of them, then the other one starts crying. Then you take care of this one, and then the other one starts crying again. I was like, what? And then
I couldn't even imagine.
And it was very difficult.
Can you imagine?
It was super difficult. I don't even wish twins on people. So when people say, "Oh, I wish I had twins," I'm like, "No, you don't.
Oh
You do not."
man.
And then on top of that, if you have multiple like triplets, I've seen
Like
people.
Octomom or
I was like,
whatever, yeah.
I don't know how people can do it. Like,
Yeah.
it was rough. That first year was rough.
Well, and it is. It's a lot of work, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of work, a lot of love, a lot of attention,
Yeah.
a lot of challenges, you know, which, you know, there's no handbook, right? I
No.
mean, there are. You can buy books and people can tell you, but the bottom line is you learn by living,
Yeah.
by doing it, you know? I mean,
You're not truly ready.
No.
And that's what I think, like, I don't know, like, my thing is, like, you come up with a lot of, like, it's human nature to come up with, like, what ifs. Like, what if this happens? What if
Yeah.
this happens? Like, and in that point, I think the thing, it's, like, that kind of instilled more confidence in me. It's, like, okay, not being a know-it-all. I think this kind of gets just like confused with a lot of this, but it's like just knowing where to find the right answers. Like it's not what if this happens, it's more so if this happens, why did it happen? And what can I do to fix it? That's it. And that's how you have to attack those things. Otherwise you're just gonna be spinning in circles in your head like, oh my gosh, what if it's this, what if it's that? You're gonna be over there on TikTok, Instagram and everything, all great. We've all done it.
The self-diagnosis or the self, I got you.
We've stubbed our toe and it turned green and we're like, oh, it's gonna fall off. WebMD.
That's it.
Do not look at WebMD.
Do not look at WebMD, man. I'm telling you.
But it's just human nature. It's regular things, though. You know. Like,
it is.
I think it's just I've realized that like it's more of a sense of like you feel like for some reason like almost like you feel what's going on. You're like, oh, I think it's this, or like. You know,
you sense it. Especially when they're your babies. You know, you do, and keep it on that point, like. Exposure. You know, a lot of people want to not expose, like keep them in a cage in a bubble, and you know, on the contrary, like the best thing is build the immunities, get out, go play in dirt, go eat a little bit of dirt, eat a stick, kid. I mean, it happens, you know, and I think in society nowadays things have come to such a point where everybody wants to protect and be safe, and I get that, like we want to protect and we want to be safe, but I remember riding bicycles with no helmets, sitting in the back of trucks, you know, with no seatbelts, you know, in the beds, and you know, old school California, which I think Arizona still has a lot of those same rules applying out there, and you know, everybody's fine. You know, we just gotta let them grow. Like climbing a tree, sometimes you fall out of a tree. You know, you might break.
I never fell out of a tree, but I used to love climbing trees.
I remember jumping over my grandma's fence and going face first into the concrete before and everything. I've had those, but I mean, like that's how I'm the type though that's like. You gotta get sick at some point.
That's it.
So you build your immunity.
Your immunity's gonna be so much worse if you're living in a bubble.
It's true. No, it really.
I mean, honestly, I thought about it though, where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put you in a bubble, but.
Well, no, we want to. Especially they're our babies. We love them. You know, we love them.
But my thing is, it's like, just don't put your mouth on my kid. That's all I say. It's like just everything's fine.
Note to everyone listening: don't put your mouth on one of his kids. He is not vibing with that. He's a big guy.
When I had my twins, like. Because, you know, twins, obviously, it's like, oh, twins, oh, you get the same questions. But one thing I did not like is people touching my babies. I didn't like them. Like, I didn't want strangers touching my babies. Like, you know, because at that first, you know, the first 4 months, you know, they're very vulnerable, you know.
No, they are.
They're very vulnerable. Babies. So at that point, I was like, don't touch my kid, because, you know, I don't know who you are. I don't want my kids getting sick. You know, they haven't received, I think their first.
Their shots at that point.
So so I was just like, don't touch my kid. I don't want strangers touching my kid. After that, when they're toddlers, you know, whatever. But, you know, but the first 4 months, I was very like, very protective of my babies.
Papa bear, mama bear. Yeah, no, for sure. It's funny because the challenges that we face, you know, the lack of sleep, the this, the that, the waking up in shifts with mama as a baby, change as they grow older. You're on baby stage. You're in the teeny bopper beginning teen stage with the girls now. How old are the girls?
They're 12 now.
They're 12.
They're gonna be 13.
Coming up on 13, and then Isaac is 16.
He's gonna be 16 next week.
Him and Valine are the same age, which is crazy. But the different challenges, man, like. You know, we all have great kids. We're blessed. We're fortunate. You have a great baby. You know, she's going to be amazing. We already know that because who her parents are. You know, we raise them right. We love them. We you know, instill good values into our little people, and they turn into great humans. Well, then they turn 16. Valine turned 16. She took my car.
She took your car.
And she's driving. And I don't mind. I love her. She can have everything. It's all hers. But the other morning, woke up on Tuesday, and I was like, oh, she's getting ready for practice. She's going to go, you know, run cross country with her team. I get up and thinking, like, oh, I'm going to take her. She's like, oh, hey, Dad. Hey, baby. I'm like, oh, she doesn't need me to drive her. And a lot of parents think that's not a challenge. That's a blessing. And it is in one hand. But on another hand, for me and Jessica, it's kind of a challenge because that's quality time that we got to spend together. You know, that's in the mornings, you know, taking her to school in the mornings, I loved it. You know, even though, I'll be honest, we'd have some chaotic mornings because if Valine was running late, she didn't like that. And her energy was not hidden, and she would let me know she did not like that. But regardless, whether she was upset or it was a good morning, it was a smooth or not so smooth morning, it didn't matter. We read our devotional together, we prayed together, and we had quality time together. I loved it. And now that's gone, and it's a part of life, just another stage. But that being said, man, enjoy every waking moment.
Yeah. Definitely.
No, I tell my babies I love them every day.
Yeah.
And they're like, they give me this weird look, like, because they're at the stage where, like, especially the girls.
Yeah.
They're mean. Girls are mean when they hit like that 10-year-old mark.
Yeah,
they're
their
like,
emotions are changing for
I was
sure.
like,
Hormones.
I know.
Who are you? What happened to my baby?
And they're at that age where they start developing their own opinions.
They're
not the person that you're molding them to be.
Oh,
not that we should ever do that, but it's like more so like they're becoming the person they're gonna be.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta let them take the wheel. Let them literally take the wheel now.
Yeah, no, that's it. And God has a plan and a vision, and sometimes we're like, whoa, is that the one? And Dr. Carr, a friend of mine from the desert, I talked to him about it. He's a hormone doctor, and I'm like, Dr. Carr, like, this is a while ago, and I'm like, my daughter, like, sometimes it's good, and I'm like, hey, baby, how you doing? Oh, hey, Dad. And then I'll walk away, and then I'll come back, and, oh, what you doing? Nothing. Like, just a totally different person. And I was like, what is it? And he told me straight out, he's like, honestly, Joe, it's really not their fault at that age. Their hormones are going all over the place. They're a little bit emotional. He's like, just love on them.
Yeah.
You know, that's all you can do. Just love on them.
And since I have two of them, like it gets harder. And sometimes I was like, sometimes I just want to leave. But then I'm like, I miss my babies.
Yeah.
You know, and then my wife keeps telling me like, this is only temporary.
Yeah.
This is temporary. And I talked to a lot of like adult females, and they're like, you know what? I was mean to my dad, and then once I hit like 19, 20, I was just like, you know, I was all about my dad. You know, so I was like, okay.
No,
so there's hope.
There is hope.
And I've heard one time, what was the saying? Like, once when you have a daughter, now you have someone to take care of you forever.
Yeah. More than likely, the daughter will be the one to do that. Yeah. Jessica's taking care of her parents. You know, the roles kind of reversed. Actually, it was kind of cool. I remember we were at the Living Desert a couple months back, and the kids were pushing Grandma and Grandpa. And Jessica says, wow. And I'm like, what? She's like, look at, full circle. The Grandma and Grandpa were pushing the babies when they were little, and now the kids are pushing Grandma and Grandpa. And it was a beautiful thing. It really was. It was like, wow. It's enlightening. It's fulfilling. Rewarding. But yeah, it's been good. One thing I wanted to bring up, we talked about beforehand, was movement. The importance of kids moving. How many of you guys see everywhere you go this?
Oh yeah.
Kids on the phone or the tablet, and parents, they have ADD, they don't know, they need to go to the doctors, get them on Ritalin or pills or whatever it is, and I'm not knocking medicine at all, by all means, but I really believe the truest form of medicine for a lot of that is movement, man. What do you guys think of that?
I do.
Yeah, I would agree. I will say I've been guilty of, you gotta stand up and walk her around. I'm like, she's sitting on my stomach. She's fine. She's chest down. She's breathing. She's farting. She's burping.
She's farting and burping. Well, at that age,
yeah. So
she's baby.
I will admit that I can be lazy sometimes. Working on it though. But yeah, I agree. Like, it's just getting out. Like, my brother was telling me the other day, he doesn't even know how to ride a bike. 18. I'm like, huh? Like,
no, my son doesn't.
Really?
My son doesn't know how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, my son has his challenges, so.
That's a goal. We need to get these young guys and gals to learn how to ride a bike. That's a big one right there, right? It is.
Yeah. But you got to think though, it's like they're in a way different time than we were.
Yeah.
Look at, like, if you don't keep up with computers and stuff, you're kind of falling back nowadays.
Yeah.
Back then, we didn't have that stuff. It was just kind of starting.
True.
It wasn't like priority. Like we were.
It's true.
I remember I had to learn cursive. They don't even have to learn their signature anymore.
At all.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
They don't even know cursive
e-sign.
anymore.
Yeah.
It's e-signing and just stuff like that. Like
They don't teach it in school anymore at all.
No.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Because everything's just filed away. So maybe it's the times we're coming to. We're gonna be those old farts that don't agree.
Yeah.
We're there already, but like they with my kids, they get a laptop at school, like in elementary, and I don't agree with it. I think they need to learn how to write, how to do arithmetic, That's math for you young folks.
Arithmetic.
Yeah.
Nice.
They needed, but no, everything's all on the computer, and which it has its benefit because we can track it from our end.
Yeah.
So that's a cool thing, but I think at that early age, I think they should learn how to read, write, and do everything on paper. Yeah. And then when they get to like middle school, they should be introduced to computers and laptops because that's how
both are important. Yeah.
That's how it was done with me. And what's funny is I don't even see kids doing this anymore. They're just like
pecking.
Yeah, they're pecking.
Yep, they peck. Yeah. ASDF, JKL, semicolon, home keys, baby. Come on, had to learn that.
I remember, yeah.
We had typing class.
Typing class
in high school. Did you have typing class? See, that's even before your time. Yeah. We had typing class.
Typing class, yeah.
Boom. Even to this day, I can type faster and cleaner than I can write.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
ASDF, JKL, semicolon. I remember that.
And I'm like, funny. And somebody was like, how do you type like that without even looking? I'm like, what?
That's what we did.
That's what we did.
Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah. That's what we do.
But I mean, it's like, what do you do nowadays? I mean, like, it's kind of like crazy. Like, what I mean, I'm not at that stage. I mean, you guys are at that stage where it's like, do you like want, like, just back of your mind, you're always like, I don't want you doing that. Nope, don't want you on Instagram. Don't want you on social media. I do that.
It's tough, Moya, especially when you have good kids. Valine, for example, she's a 4.67 GPA. She's donating her time out in the community all the time. Tuesday she woke up, went and changed, went to Kimberly Junior's and went into a parade. And like she's devoting time and doing a lot of good things. But yet I still see even her as a very motivated young lady on the device sucking time. And it's like, you want to balance that out. Yeah. You really do, because how much time are you going to put into that? I think coming up with a guideline, even for ourselves as adults, to say like, hey, I got to cut myself off. I should only give myself X amount of time. If I need to watch a show, not to binge and watch so much. Maybe there's those moments when you do, or time and place, but on the regular, like, 20, 30 minutes, just creating some form of a schedule to help keep them on track, I think is important. Structure, really, to put a time in for that, because there's nothing wrong with it, right?
Yeah.
Putting a time in for that.
So what I do with my kids is there's a 6 o'clock cutoff on electronics. 6 o'clock cutoff.
Nice.
Other things that I do is like I don't want devices on the table, the dinner table, and that includes going out. If we go out and eat, I don't want devices on the table.
That's right.
Like it's like, you know my rules, but you got to stick to them. You got to enforce them. Like no, it's not okay. And
and us leading by example is important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna, not just our kids, but people in general are gonna listen more to what they see, if that makes sense, than what they hear.
Yeah.
Right? What are we doing? You can tell me this, but are you doing this? Going back to the movement thing, I think it's important for us as parents to train and to keep our bodies in shape physically, spiritually, emotionally, because that gives them an example, and that's important. Challenging ourselves, pushing ourselves, for them to challenge themselves and push themselves. Tonight we're challenging ourselves. We're driving to Yosemite. We're gonna park at midnight, sleep for 3 hours in the car, and we're gonna hike up to Half Dome and hike back. And I'm like, this is challenging. I'm feeling challenged. I know what's coming, but you know what? It's also encouraging. I'm like, man,
with your kids,
doing this with the kids, right? Getting out with our own kids, man, moving, Yeah,
because right now my kids at that stage are like, they don't want to leave the house. And I'm like, what? Like, when we were kids, we were like...
We don't want to be in the house.
We don't want to be in the house.
Yeah.
It was a punishment.
It was a punishment to be in the house.
Yeah.
We'd be out until what? What was our signal to come back?
The lights turn.
Lights going on.
Lights going on, baby. Lights go on. I got to go home, guys. I better run.
That's why I love summer, because we were like, we can stay out later. We stay out till like 9.
We had more sun.
Yeah, we had more sun.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's a beautiful thing.
But I remember, I had rules I wasn't allowed to go outside until my house was clean.
Yeah.
Which I do that to my kids. I'm like, you can't be on electronics until the house is clean.
Yeah.
I like, especially in the summertime, like, don't bother getting on electronics unless the living room, the kitchen, everything is clean. Your rooms are clean.
Yeah.
Because I'm instilling that, like, you got to keep everything clean, organized.
No, that's it, man. You got to. And I think, like, the big thing, just going back to everything, a lot of what we talked about, one, like, we learn as we go, right?
Mm-hmm.
There could be books, but you're going to learn better hands-on, moving, the importance of just moving with them, getting them outside, creating that habit,
They need that
breaking the old habit. Breaking the old habit and exposure, exposing them to stuff. A lot of times we want to keep them in a shell and protect them, which is important. We want to protect them. We want to use wisdom, but, letting them, spread the wings a little bit and create a little bit of independence and grow. And then, they'll come back, like mama bird, baby bird. Mama teaches them how to fly and, eventually they go and spread. And, we do a good job along the way. It shows.
I feel like, because I was a helicopter parent, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Because, when we grew up, our parents didn't know where we were at.
No.
They knew that we were coming back.
Yeah.
They
knew what time we'd be back.
They knew what time we'd be back.
Yeah.
But I think with the introduction of the internet and us being exposed to world information at the tip of our hands, I think it made us kind of kind of paranoid. I'm like, oh, it's hard for me to let my kid, and I'm learning how to you gotta let them grow. You gotta let them do things on their own, and as I'm kind of lessening that grip right now, and which was hard, but it has to be done.
Yeah.
It has to be done because if not, they're gonna be sheltered adults.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where it's like, would you rather them do it under your supervision or without your supervision?
No, absolutely.
And
absolutely. That communication.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, everything is at the tip of your hands, but at the same time, though, too, that's where we know how to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have we not known, and it's like, oh, let me Google this real quick. Let me go on somewhere, YouTube, whatever.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
DIY or DIY, do it yourself. Yeah.
I mean, at this point, like I said, it's not becoming a know-it-all. It's just
information's there.
You could literally put together car engines and stuff like that online nowadays.
Yeah.
You can figure that stuff out. You can get a whole step-by-step process of anything.
I fixed my washing machine once, but just by going on YouTube.
By YouTube,
it was I was literally ready to replace the entire washing machine, and my wife's like, her coworker fixed it, and it was something called the dogs, and I'm like, really? So I YouTube how to replace the dogs on the washing machine. It was a $7 part.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I was ready to
go spend $500.
Well, yeah, spend $500 on a washing machine.
Nice.
And it was the old one, the top loader one.
Yeah.
And I was like, $7.
For the good ones.
Yeah. But this one, and then after I fixed it, I was like, it was brand new.
Nice.
I was like,
I think that's important though, is teaching them, because it's not leverage anymore. It's teaching them how to navigate it.
And
it's a lot easier now.
Yeah,
it really is. Teaching them how to actually navigate and do those things. And sometimes you're gonna see a lot of things you don't want to see. You're gonna see a lot of things that gonna enlighten you a little bit, but at the same time, as I got older, I think the biggest thing was you learn something from everyone.
Yeah.
Every conversation you have, everything you take at least a little bit, whether it's something you're gonna use in the future or something you should never do.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be
how are we gonna learn, right? The easy way or the hard way? The easy way is a lot better, right? Yeah. That's it, man. No, we're here. We guide them, we direct them, we love them, and we just pray that everything we've instilled in them carries forward, and when they grow up and you can watch that take place, watching Joey go away and do his thing and see him develop, it's like, wow, it happened, and it's rewarding and it's fulfilling, and it's a process, and starting with the baby, funny thing is though, they'll always be your baby.
Yeah.
Speaking of, there's my baby right there, guys. I think that's a good day. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. Right on. Well, good. Well, hey guys, that's Real Talk.
Real Talk.
Real Talk with Rudy, Moya, and Joseph. Love you guys. You guys have a blessed day.
Bye.